Today, my guest is a drag queen. He's a GenderFunk performer and founder. He's the mother of GenderFunk and the Queer Collective. And he also does a little bit of teaching on the side. Today, my guest is Esta Ricardo. Thank you for coming on.
Hola, hola, hola. How are you today?
I'm good. How's your day been so far?
I woke up an hour ago, so non-existent.
And we'll just give the time it right now for people listening is 2:35.
I lead a very unusual life.
So what's unusual about your life?
Well, just how it's structured. I'm not a 9-to-5 girl, so yeah, like drag queens were creatures of the night. Of course, everyone knows that, and my lifestyle is very all over the place in a way. Like, I do a lot of work on the weekends, maybe working till 4 or 5 a.m. So of course I sleep a little bit more in the day. But in general, I don't really get much sleep. Well, recently I haven't anyway. I'm trying to restabilize and get the balance. I just got back from the UK. So I've been in the UK for 3 months. So,
How was that?
Fabulous, actually. The NHS was very delicious and free.
Is that why you went back?
Part of the reason, I got quite ill actually from overworking on GenderFunk. Like, I had exhaustion and that led to other things. So it was great to get loads of free healthcare, take a rest in bed, and yeah, it was super important to reconnect with where my performance, where it all started, like me performing and being a GenderFunk performer. So reconnecting with my beginnings and giving space for my ends, like GenderFunk, to continue without me and see that it can continue without me. So that was really cool. And just hanging out with my friends, like all these mentors and inspirations of the past, like re-inspired me and re-mentored me. And now I came back like, bam, let's be better, let's grow.
And how long had it been since you'd last been back?
2 years. Yeah.
So had it changed much, did you find?
Yeah, yes, like, in a way, like, some of the people have changed. Of course, all of them have changed. I mean, I've changed radically, like, massively. Some people have changed even better, like, I love them even more and the connection's even stronger. Some people have changed, perhaps in ways that I don't like as much, but I still love them. So, yeah, but England's still talking about Brexit. That hasn't fucking changed. Can I swear?
Ideally not.
Okay, I'll stop, sorry.
That's
Drag
okay.
queens are foul-mouthed. But no, I won't.
I don't think there's many children that listen to it, but we try and keep it
No,
clean.
I'll keep it pissy.
Yeah, with Brexit, I mean, I feel so bad for people that live in the UK. Like, I'm so sick of it, and I don't even live there or have to deal with it. When I was back in July, and it just seems to be getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I left England because I was just sick of talking about Brexit around the dinner table. I was like, I can't with this anymore. I just cannot. Like, I'll visit when you're all done with this. you have the whole bullshit. And sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, Brexit is entitled to one bullshit.
Yeah, enough, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not here to talk about Brexit.
But we're moving on already. So where are you from in the UK? Because your accent, in the little bit of time I've been talking to you, I've picked up on an American accent, an Australian accent, and obviously an English accent. And it's a mix of everything.
Well, I am a man and woman of many colours and places. And by colours I mean like painting colours, not like skin colours, by the way. I'm a very white privileged guy. I'm owning that. Not owning it in a good way, in a respectful way. Do you know what I mean? What's the word?
I know what you mean though, and I kind of talked about this with Angie and talked about it with a friend. So I'm a white man as well, and I'm a straight white man. And I'm that far end of that spectrum.
You're so privileged. I'm joking.
No, but you know, that it feels weird to say that. You almost have to like re-own it, because now there is such a broad spectrum of people that we accept. But that also means that there's people on the far end of it as well, and I'm on that far end of it. So it feels weird that you have to then kind of, because like I mentioned to you before we started, I'm feel like a bit of an older generation. And for me growing up, that was never a discussion. It was male and female bathrooms. There was homosexual, bisexual was just coming into the kind of equation. So we didn't think about any of this. There was no having to be like, well, I'm a straight white male. Mm-hmm. But I think, that's kind of what you mean by like your...
Yeah, like, yes, I mean, well, because what I'm very conscious of is that when... You know, I'm doing a drag form that takes references from a lot of different places, and there are, I think, several you have to be. I personally am very respectful, like with my drag and things that I will do and things that I won't do. So just sometimes, of course, communication is a very confusing thing sometimes, and sometimes I just explain what I mean by a statement because someone who's listening might be like, "Oh, what do you mean? Like the colors, like as in like you're using drag to be different colors?" Obviously, I'm not doing that. So I'm just touching base and being like, "Hey, by the way, this is what I mean by that statement." But you are right about the American accent thing. It's very, very interesting. I am from Birmingham, or Birmingham, as we call it. And I just feel like my accent kind of evolved when I studied in London. And in London, my voice became more international because I was hanging out with a lot of people from different places. And I kind of was like, hey, you've learnt my entire language. The least I can do is speak clearly because people from Birmingham don't talk clearly.
I've got good friends from Birmingham, from Solihull.
Oh, that's the nice area.
The posh part,
I'm from the dirty, dirty end of Birmingham.
Right.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
So I already kind of had a kind of international accent and I was teaching and training and facilitating, so I wanted to be even clearer then, so it kind of neutralized. And then when I started drag, I got on stage for the first time to host, and all of a sudden I was like this demure American woman, and I have no idea where she came from, but I love it.
So tell us about that, and how did you get into drag? Again, we'll get into definitions. What is a drag queen?
Well, it's a good question. I am not sure. For me, it's less about being a drag queen. It's more about the art of drag. So for me, a drag queen is a person who is exploring their gender through the art of drag, and they're playing on the feminine aspect of gender. Whereas a drag king is a person, and it can be of any gender or sexuality, who is exploring gender through the art of drag, but in a more masculine way. But then a drag queen can express gender through their drag, and it be very beyond gender. It can be they're going beyond human, as my really good friend Popcorn would say.
Does that mean being an alien? But then you just said,
post-human, alien, animal.
And so, how did you get into that?
Into drag?
Yeah.
So, do you want the short story or the long story?
You got all the time in the world.
Have we? Yeah. Okay, darling. I'll give you the full tea. So, I started performing when I was 23 or 4, I think. But I started as a GenderFuck performer. So that's fuck, not funk. And you can probably guess where the name GenderFunk came from. So I started in festivals as a GenderFuck artist. So GenderFuck is an art form that's similar to drag, but you're playing with gender. So it's less about, it doesn't need to be super elevated. Like I feel like drag is very big and huge and has very specific makeup and wig and stuff like that. Whereas GenderFuck is more just like playing with it's very gender bendery, and I never really did makeup and stuff. So I was doing that for like 3 years, but always within like a very specific format and setting, like radical arts festivals where, you know, everybody's an artist or crazy or whatever, and it's a super safe space to perform. And then I started doing drag when I was here. So I moved here with one costume, thinking that wouldn't be a part of my life here, and I came here for a very different intention. I came here to learn and gain a different perspective, you know, as we're talking the whole white straight, straight me. I mean, the whole white privilege thing, I was like, I want to gain a different perspective and like grow and be a better person and be more understanding. So I came to Vietnam, and then I just cannot escape the glamour. So I found this night called Full Disclosure, and I started to attend that, absolutely loved it, started to dress up. And then the founder of Full Disclosure, by the way, you should go to Full Disclosure. It's absolutely amazing. It's an incredible drag show. It happens regularly. They're doing pool parties and stuff. You should go. He had to go back to England for a while. So myself and 3 other people like looked after it for him while he was away. And that's where I saw all these skills that I'd learned from organizing festivals kind of came out. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot I had these. And so I worked on Full Disclosure for a while. But I'd had the idea for GenderFunk, which is a play on the word of gender fuck, the style of performance that I love. And I love disco. I feel like it's a music genre that most people can dance to. It's very fun, like playful. And I'd had the idea for GenderFunk for 7 years. So when I was doing Full Disclosure, I was like, I'm literally doing exactly what I wanted to do with GenderFunk, but it just isn't my philosophy because GenderFunk has a very specific mission, philosophy, and what it's about. So when Gavin returned, I was like, Full Disclosure's yours. Of course, I've had so much fun. Thank you so much. Here you go. And I started GenderFunk kind of like lit off of Full Disclosure, but with my unique message of what GenderFunk is, because it's very, very different.
And so what is that mission and philosophy?
So the philosophy of GenderFunk is that we believe that the social construct or social idea of gender is that society tells us that a man should do this and should act like this and be like this, and that a woman should do this and be like this and act like this. We think it's absolutely ridiculous. We think it doesn't allow us to grow, it restrains us, and we actually think that it harms us. And there's lots of research that gives evidence of this. So because we feel these gender roles are harming not just queer people, but all people, we create spaces for people to explore gender so they can realize these rules they don't exist. Very famous drag king Landon Sider said, when you break a rule, you realize there are no rules, and then you're free. So that's kind of the purpose of GenderFunk, is like, we want you to come, express your gender in some way, like play with it a little bit, and realize, oh, hang on, this isn't a thing, this isn't real. And then when you realize that, you can wear what you want, you can behave how you want, as long as you're being kind, respectful, and not harming other people. So that's the overall philosophy of GenderFunk. It's not actually an LGBT party. It's a queer party and it's inclusive. It's inclusive of all people. Straight people have gender issues too, because what's important to differentiate is that sexuality and gender are totally different things. Your sexuality is how your attraction to people, and even that's very fluid. Your gender is how you identify. So GenderFunk, it's not about sexuality. It's about, it plays into it a lot, but it's more about gender, and everyone has gender issues. I mean, not everyone. I'm sure there's some cool people out there who have got it all sorted. And brother, come to GenderFunk and tell people about it. But it's welcome for everyone. I mean, the privileged straight white male have some of the worst problems of gender, and we reach out to them and we welcome them. We did a whole show for straight men.
Well, I mentioned to Angie in just one of the previous episodes, I was looking at coming to GenderFunk because I'd heard such great things about it and wanted to see what was going on. And so I actually went onto your Facebook page to look at the pictures of previous events, find out what people wore. So I was like, I just will. I'm pretty bland fashion sense. So do I have to go and get like a outfit or something like that? And so I went on and I saw one of my friends in a picture who's just dressed, normal t-shirt and things like that. I was like, all right, well, maybe I can go. The problem is it's too late. I'm an old man. It's on late at night, isn't it?
Some of them. We've just started a new show called Just Drag. And that's an earlier show. So the show starts at 10 and at 11. So it's a much earlier show because we realised there's a big part of the queer community, an extended community, who do want to see shows, but they don't want to wait till midnight and they don't want to be in that club night setting. So
and that would be me.
Yeah,
that would be included in that. Yeah, that would be just because I'm in bed by 12 normally,
And that's the thing, like, GenderFunk is a very community thing, so we were like, we look to our community and we're like, what do they want? We want to provide this space for them. We want to provide entertainment to our community and to these people. And who are they? And we identified, like, we're missing a big part of the community by having all these late shows at these big spaces. So Just Drag's now at the Baroness. We just did the first one on Friday and it was super successful. Loads of people who I know in the queer scene, but I never see them at big events. We're all there. And I was like, oh, cool, it's working. Like, we did this for you. Because we want to see you there and we want you to be able to enjoy the art and the entertainment.
Yeah, so I'll have to look out for the next one then. So what's been the reaction then from the local community to GenderFunk?
Yeah, let me cough as well, sorry.
So what's been the reaction from the local community to GenderFunk?
I feel that the overall reaction to GenderFunk has been extremely positive, from what I know. In terms of the local community, it's hard to tell because I feel like mainstream local Vietnamese people, like, perhaps don't know of GenderFunk. They don't know what it is. Maybe they've seen the name, but they don't know what it is. So it's still quite underground, I feel. It's very quite restricted to, like, not restricted, but it's more within the nightclub, art, expat scene, or young queer Vietnamese. So I can't really say about mainstream Vietnamese community and culture, but feel free to tell me how you feel about it. But the young queer local Vietnamese scene mostly are in love with it because we do it for them. Like, and that's one of my favorite parts of the show is when I'm at the show, I'll see these young local Vietnamese queers, and I'll just see them at every show, and I'll see them growing and becoming more bold and more confident with costumes and makeup and trying new stuff and evolving. And I make it my point to go over and be like, "You're looking good, girl," or like, "You need to tease that wig a bit, girl." Like, give them a little tip, but make it known that like I am seeing you. Like, I do see that you're pushing your boundaries and you are growing. And that just gives them the confidence to keep going. And that's the whole point, is like, another point of GenderFunk, and another point of queer culture is that when queer people are expressing themselves and trying to grow, they don't really get validation, because you can't get validation from society or your parents in a lot of circumstances, because they don't see that as a good thing. They don't want to affirm that. Like, they think that that's a bad thing, that you're not supposed to act feminine when you're a man. So I feel like it's important in the queer community for us to be affirming each other and being like, "Hey, you look fierce, you look amazing," because then they're like, "Oh, cool, I want to do this, I want to do more of this," and it gives them the support to grow more, which they aren't getting from everywhere else. And like, I can give you an example. I can give you a few actually. For example, on Friday, Just Drag, our first performer of the night was Erotica, and Erotica a year ago just used to come to the events, and I remember the first time Erotica came to the event and said hello to me, and then they wasn't Erotica then, it was Hugh. And then the next event came with makeup on, the next event had this hideous wig on, but it doesn't matter. I could see that she was like getting better, and every event she got better and better and better. So I keep my eye on these little new talents. And then she competed in Saigon is Burning, which is our drag show that is a platform to launch new artists. So we basically take 5 people from our community who we've noticed are either working hard or being artistic. We give them a team. We train them for a month. We give them a makeup artist, a drag mom. We do choreography. And we basically say, that cool creative idea that you've had in your head for years and years and years, we're going to give you the resources and the support to make it happen, because you're part of our community and we want to make your dreams come true. And then they compete. It's like a battle format. It's super fun. And then, but the other part of it is that it's a launching pad for new artists. Like, we want to grow this community and our brand of drag. And it's working. There's like 40, 50 drag queens who have come from this event. And Erotica started as just a little queer boy in the party, and then was on Saigon is Burning, and now is getting paid to be one of my professional performers at events. So you can see it's working. It's working, yes! All the hard work and the death. I nearly died. That's an exaggeration.
And would you agree that it's a very surprising part of the kind of Saigon Vietnam culture? Like, when you go back home, are people shocked to learn that this is going on here?
They are. I think people are shocked that it's happening because they just don't have an understanding of Vietnam. Whereas, like, Vietnam's like totally chill. Well,
Saigon is.
Saigon is, yeah.
Well, that's why I've been corrected on that. Saigon is very different to the rest of Vietnam.
True. With drag, however, there is really good drag in the north. In Hanoi, like, I know a lot of the Hanoi drag. We have Hanoi is Burning, like, GenderFunk's in the north as well. So, although, like, the structures maybe aren't as good as in the south, the drag scene is very different and very cool in different ways. Like, for example, in the north, what I really love about the northern drag scene is I feel like, unfortunately, because of the restrictions on venues and late night stuff, like, they are limited in what event spaces they can have, which of course limits a lot of the stuff you can do. However, in terms of diversity, the North are slaying. Like, they have loads of drag kings, which I am obsessed with right now. It's like one of my favorite things in drag at the moment. They have a really cool community of artists that are all supporting each other. So yeah, they're slaying up in the North. They're doing really well. Like nights like Peach, Queen of Hanoi, and Wet, and Le Pillion. Like, yeah, there's some really cool stuff there.
And so to go back, what did people back home say then when you tell them like this is what's happening in Vietnam?
I don't know. I think I had to like make it a bit more real for them, because obviously when you're just getting Facebook and Instagram reference points, I go back and they're like, "You're the RuPaul of Vietnam," and I'm like, "Girl, I'm not the RuPaul of Vietnam, like at all. Like, I'm like low key club, well known. Do you know what I mean? It's not. Let's not make this an ego trip. It's not a thing."
That's nice to hear.
What do you mean?
That you're the RuPaul of Vietnam? That's going to make you feel good?
I just don't see it like that. Like, I mean, it's cool, it's nice, like, but I'm just like, you have the wrong idea. Like,
can I title this episode the RuPaul?
Don't. I'll probably get sued. No, because it's like I do have a lot of respect and love for RuPaul as for what he has done for the world, for drag, for example. But I feel like, and he is a massive inspiration, like spiritually as well. It's actually the spiritual and the business sides of RuPaul that I really respect and honor. However, my artistic drag, I don't get my inspiration for RuPaul from that. Like, drag for me is more art than this homogenized product. I mean, I think that's important to also have. Like, if you want to do your art and you want to make money off your art, or you want to sustain your art, you need money. So you do need to apply your art to different formats to make money. So you can buy more shit and do more art. So I do respect RuPaul for that, and I get a lot from him, but maybe some of the rules of the TV show, there are like some negatives of it, like kind of framing this is what drag is, when drag is so open. And that's where GenderFunk differs to kind of the main image of drag. Is GenderFunk is super, super open and fluid with our definition of drag. And it's inclusive of everyone. We have drag queens from all different genders, all different identities.
Who's the oldest and the youngest?
If you ask the kids, they'll all say me. I think I am as well, which is shady. Is the shadiest thing ever.
How old are you?
I'm not old, darling. I'm young.
How young are you?
29. I'm 29. I'm 30 in a week.
Baby.
Yeah. But I think I am the oldest. Let me think. From GenderFunk, I'm pretty sure I'm the oldest. Which is ridiculous because, like, when I started doing GenderFunk performances, or when I lived in Europe, I was the baby of the group. Like, all my friends are like 50 and 60 years old in Europe. Or like 40, 50, 60, they're much older. So I just have a wizened mind. So, yeah, here I've got this mother role, which really shocked me. I don't know what, I didn't expect it at all, because I was like the baby who was just finding my footing and stuff. But then I think I just didn't realize how lucky I was to have had my experience that I've had at such a young age in Europe, and have been in this radical festival scene and had these amazing mentors providing me with these alternative lifestyle references. When I came to Vietnam and I hadn't been hanging out with let's say normal people, not in a bad way, but like I'd only been within very alternative spaces for 3 years. So when I kind of came back to mainstream society, I was like, whoa, I forgot about this. Like, this is boring. Like, oh my God. For me, like, it's, as long as you're happy, you know, I'm sure you're not bored. Not you, but the mainstream societies. I hope you're not anyway. If you are, come to GenderFunk. So, yeah, I just found it difficult coming to Vietnam at first, not because of the culture of that stuff I was loving. I found it more difficult just being back in a mainstream society, like going to normal bars. I was like, what is this? Like, it's really expensive. It's dirty. I can't lie on the floor. I can't wear what I want. Like, this is terrible. So I was here for 6 months, and then I went back to all my festivals that are a huge part of my life. I came back and I was like, I can't live here with this. And that's another reason why I found Full Disclosure and then started GenderFunk, was like, I just need a space where I can be fabulous, and there aren't that many. So if you can't find it, build it.
And that's exactly what's come up time and time again when I interview people, especially in the creative space or even in the business space as well, is because Vietnam is so new, so developing, in a developing sense, becoming modernized very quickly. There's a massive gap right now in a space for people like yourself you're saying you're so young, but you've got all this experience. You can come over and you can start something. Same with restaurants. Same with like so many people have come when they come on the podcast say, I couldn't do this back home. Like I have a friend who's a musician here. He gets paid to be a musician. And this was last week, and I won't say his name because I don't want to embarrass him, but he's an amazing musician. And last week he said to me, the guy I play with, we think we're really average, and if we were back home, we would never get paid gigs, but here we like get 4 or 5 paid gigs a week, and we pretty much make a living out of playing music. It's amazing. And I think as well with podcasting, like there wasn't many podcasts when I started. There's more now. I probably wouldn't have started a podcast if I looked and been like, oh, there's all these other ones. I'm not going to bother.
It's very true. And sorry, I'm sick. It's true. And I think it's very important to realize, like I realized that massively. I think one is to realize like how lucky I am that Vietnam has given me this opportunity. Like the space of Vietnam has given me this opportunity.
We're in a really unique time, I feel like, because it's not going to last forever, right?
Oh, GenderFunk will last forever. You will be
the opportunity
calling it in your grave. I'm joking. Yeah.
But the opportunity to start GenderFunk, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, very, 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 very true. And like, what's even more important, I think, is like one thing that I massively recognize is that because I get a lot of praise for GenderFunk for like I mean, after the show, I spend 2 hours of just people being like, "Oh my god, you're so amazing!" I'm like, "I know, right?" I'm joking. No, and the thing is like, I say to people, I'm like, look, I just am very lucky to have been born in a country and to have lived a journey and an experience where I have all these skills that I've learned, and I'm very lucky to have had these skills. I worked very hard to learn these skills, and I, went out and found these skills, and I take validation and credit for that. But at the end of the day, I am extremely lucky, and I'm very understanding of the circumstances that enabled me to have them. So what I'm doing is I just realize I have these skill sets. It doesn't make me any better than anyone else. I just have these skill sets. So I'm applying my skill sets to create a stage and to organize a space for these artists to do their stuff because they are incredibly talented. Like, this is the tea. My drag children are way more talented than me at makeup, art, dance, like all of that judge. I just have loads of skill sets that I'm lucky to have. So I'm happy to use my skill sets to build this stage for them to express their art because they don't have those skill sets yet. And part of GenderFunk is they are learning those skill sets throughout it. So I think it's like, when I do get praise, I'm like, look, it isn't when the only pronoun I'm particular about, people are like, you must call me a he, she, which is, that's their right to call. For me, the only pronoun I'm very particular on is the you pronoun. When people are like, you did this, I'm like, no, we did this. Like, yes, I'm the crazy bitch who, with the spreadsheets and is like dragging, pun intended, everyone together. But I couldn't do this if you weren't working the door. I couldn't do this if these artists weren't here to do this, the judge. I couldn't do this if you weren't supporting me. So GenderFunk is a massive we. And on top of that, it's also that GenderFunk really is just a space for people to express themselves. They do all the work. I just open the gate and kick them down it with heels. And that was something that was provided to me in the festival scene. Before I got in the radical arts festival scene in Europe, I was not being creative. And other people had voluntarily created this space for me. And when I landed in that scene, that's where I explored and became Esta Ricardo. And so really everything I'm doing in Vietnam is an extension of what people did for me in Europe. So it's just flow and extension. So I don't take massive credit for it. Like, I take credit for the hard work I do because I work really hard. But we're all doing this. Like, loads of fabulous people did this before. I'm passing on their fabulous gift. It will be passed on past me. And can't we all just like luxuriate and bathe in all our collective fabulousness rather than being like, yeah, I'm the best one, I'm the biggest queen. It's like, fuck that, girl. Sit down. You're a man, woman, or thing in a dress, in some fabulous clothes. We're all having fun. Let's just have fun and make beautiful art.
Talking of definitions, what's your definition of fabulous?
Anything, really, for me. For me, things that are fabulous are things that bring good to the world. Like, because I always say, like, the most fabulous, what is more fabulous than any dress I will ever wear, or any outfit I should ever wear, I don't really wear dresses that often, is, for example, I'll meet someone who works for ICS charity, this LGBT nonprofit, or I'll meet someone who works for the Green Bamboo Shelter, I think it's called. I always confuse the name. I'll meet someone from there, and it's like someone who's wearing like a white t-shirt, flip-flops. There's no excuse for flip-flops, by the way. I'm saying this recorded. I just hate them. Sorry, we won't get into it. I just can't stand them. So they're wearing a white t-shirt, flip-flops, and shorts, but they work 24/7. They dedicate their life and sacrifice all of the, you know, aesthetic things and a lot of hobbies and interests, whatever, to help other people who really, really need it. And I think that's the most fabulous thing in the world. It's more fabulous than anything I do. So that's it. Fabulous can be used in many different contexts.
I'm not going to let you go by that. What's wrong with flip-flop?
Listen, right, girl. I know it's me. I accept that they are socially acceptable everywhere else. I know that they're cool. You can flip them on and off. I get the whole thing. But one, I just don't like how they look. I don't like that your toe is split by this thing and then the sound they make.
Well, you know what they're called in Australia, though?
Thongs.
Yeah. Does that not make them more fabulous if they're called thongs?
No, because thongs aren't that fabulous anyway. Thongs are a bit, I don't know, the English reference of thongs, I'm kind of, no, I just can't stand them. I just think they're vile. The sound they make, they look horrible. People are flopping around. Plus, I associate, like, Brits abroad with them. I have no problem with people having them. Like, I know I am the one with the issue. Yeah, you can wear them anywhere you want. It's just never going to work for me.
What would you wear on the beach?
Barefoot, or I'll wear some kind of sandal, maybe. Okay,
so now we're getting deep. What's the difference between a sandal and a flip-flop?
It's my definition of a sandal. Like a sandal for me is more a closed affair, a closed toe kind of affair. I don't like the sliders. Like those Nike sliders.
You eat a slider?
They're like crisps, aren't they?
No, a slider's like a mini hamburger.
I didn't know that. I'm gluten-free. I am actually gluten-free. My life is so funny because GF means gluten-free and GF means GenderFunk. So those are the two biggest components of my life.
But gluten-free is just like a hipster trend.
Fuck all the way off.
It's not a real thing.
Excuse me, I am celiac. I have the disease of celiacism. Let me educate you now.
But people say it's not a real disease.
Well, who are these people? Do they have PhDs? Because I want to see y'all. I've been to real doctors. I've had cameras up, down, everywhere else. If you are telling me that you are more experienced in research than PhD doctors with cameras down my throat, then I will start listening.
So it's not just a hipster trend?
No, there is a hipster trend, of course.
I'm obviously joking, but
I know.
It's frustrating when people will kind of say things like that. You know, all these people are gluten-free, and you're like, I'm pretty sure if they could eat gluten, they would eat gluten. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, honestly, you're not. It's for me, it's a whole joke. Like, I play with it on stage all the time. We play with it all the time, me and my friends. The thing is, yes, there is a hipster scene to the whole gluten-free thing. I can't believe my friends are gonna die that we're talking about this. They're gonna be like, shut up, Ricardo. Because, like, it's like a running joke in our friendship group. Like, someone will be like, do you want a beer? I'm like, I'm gluten-free. Like, and everyone's just like, oh, shut up, Ricardo.
Well, I offered you a beer, and the first thing you said was, I'm gluten-free.
Because I make it, what I love is, like, something that people have a negative concept of me and my life or something, I go super far with it as a satirical way. For example, when I was younger, people would be like, oh, you're so gay, you're so gay, you're so gay. And it started to affect me. So I was like, okay, how can I reclaim this? I was like, you want to see gay? I am going to be the most gay you have ever seen. So now you will see me in the cut-off little booty shorts. You'll see me with the football socks up to my knee. I'll be wearing a crop top with my little sailor boy hat, and I'm just like prancing around like, yeah, I'm really gay. Like, and I just like take it to the extreme. I radicalize it as a way of me processing it and taking charge of it.
And what was the reaction when you dressed like that then?
They live for it. Like, here's the thing. So for me, I struggled with my gender and sexuality for a very, very long time, actually. I only came out to my mum when I was 25, which is super late, especially for someone who's megazord gay like me. So, and the shift for me was I spent so much of my life being restricted and not being creative and not being my true self because society, the government, everyone told me that you're a man and acting this way is a bad thing, it's negative. So I didn't do it. And then I was lucky enough to be put on this path or kind of maybe manifested it in a way, and I found this festival scene where And I went on my own to this festival, and it was this open playground where I could do what I wanted. It was a safe space. So then I started to experiment and explore my queerness. And there was one festival called Borderland, and I joined a queer camp. So I turned up at this queer camp thinking there's going to be loads of dick. And it was predominantly like male-female couples who are queer, for sure. But that shocked me, this idea of queer being like male and female couples, mostly. I was like, where are all the single gay men? That's why I'm here. It's not, but I thought that's the space I'd be in.
Sorry, just quickly to interrupt. A queer camp, it sounds like the opposite to, what's the camp? Inversion camps, is it?
Yeah.
It sounds like the opposite to that.
Well, what? It's not that we don't. Actually, we do. We did have rituals and stuff, but no, it's because at these festivals you band together and build camps, and it's where you sleep and you collectively cook and stuff. So there's loads of different camps, but yeah, queer camp, yeah, it's the next GenderFunk project. You're gonna catch it. So what was interesting was it was just a very different definition of queer than what I was used to, and then what I discovered, and this is a message I bring to GenderFunk all the time, is that my whole life I was not being myself because society told me that is bad, it's wrong. Then when I went to this festival thing, this queer camp, I was being my true self. I was being my most queer and femme in camp. And they were loving it. They were like celebrating it. They were living for it. They were like, yes, oh my God, we love this, we love this, we love this. So it was that affirmation really from, let's say, more straight-ish people, what people would define as straight, that gave me the confidence. And then it was like this shift in my mind. It was absolutely insane. Like, I remember being on the plane, and when I walked into that festival, and for my whole life, I'd been asking for acceptance. I was like, accept me for being like this. Accept my femme, accept my camp. Please accept me, society, because you're telling me this is wrong, and I want acceptance. I need acceptance because I feel shit about myself. And it flipped, and I was like, bitch, I don't need your acceptance. I know I'm a kind, loving person, and I know I'm fabulous. I'm not asking for anything anymore. It's an invitation now. I'm inviting you to come and celebrate my queerness and all the benefits it can bring your life, not the other way around. Being queer is diversity, it's color, it's happiness, it's love, it's support, it's art. And I'm so lucky to be queer. And I look at my friendship group, and they're from all over the world. They're all different genders. They have been through terrible hardships, which make them so empathetic, and they're so supportive and loving and artistic and creative. And it's fabulous. And isn't that what the world needs? Straight people have done fuck the world up. And y'all looking at us like, oh, we're like asking for acceptance from the straight world, when the straight world has fucking the world up. And I'm like, shouldn't you be looking to different people to try and change the game? Like, things aren't working globally, like, I feel anyway, like, there's a lot of problems. Why can't we look for alternative inspirations? The queer scene, different minority groups, colours, places in the world. Those are the places where we can look for different ways to structure ourselves.
100%. But old, straight, white men are the last group of people that are going to do any of that, unfortunately.
But they're also going to die soon, so...
That's a bold-faced truth about it, and I think a lot of people, definitely younger generation, even younger than me, are waiting for that to happen. Like in Scotland, with the referendum to become free from the United Kingdom, it was the older people that overwhelmingly voted to stay in the Union, and the younger generation overwhelmingly voted to leave. And I know there was a lot of kind of like, well, you're all going to die soon. You're not going to live long enough to see what this is going to mean. The young population want this to happen, and I think that's why the referendum. I don't want to speak like an expert because I barely even know anything, so ignore everything I'm saying. The young people, I think that's why there will be another referendum, because that younger generation. And the last thing I read just last week was the older they were a survey of older people, and they were saying, yeah, no, we made a mistake. That kind of the results of the survey. We want to do that, but
I think there's an important thing I think to note here is that, like, you said, like, the old straight white people. Yeah, I get it, and I believe in that. Yeah, they are causing a lot of problems in the world. There is too much power there, and we're reaching an age where minority groups have been empowering each other enough, like, and really banding together, that it's coming to a point when we have got the confidence and the drive and the fabulousness, in my opinion, to start being like, yo, we demand equality now. Like, it's not even a question anymore. Like, well, there's enough of us to be like, yo.
And how many people in politics or in positions of power are now from minorities that 10, 20 years ago wouldn't ever get there, whether it's colour, gender, whatever.
That true.
Trans politicians and things like that.
Yeah,
You know?
and it's amazing. They are definitely steps in the right direction. What I think is important for me, and this is me as an individual speaking, and also in turn a lot of GenderFunk's philosophy is that at GenderFunk we are not hating. We'll make jokes about it, but we are not hating straight white people at all. Like I cry at straight white people because this is a really important point for me. Is that at the end of the day, you can't help how you're born. If you're born a straight old white person, I mean, you're not born old, but but yeah, if you're old now, you were born 60 years ago as a straight white person. You were born into that experience and you lived that experience and you were educated in that way. That's not your choice. You didn't choose that. So I don't hate you for being born and being educated that way. What is more important to me is to try and build a bridge and a connection for us to understand each other so we can make the world better for both of us. So I feel like there is a radical liberal movement that is like, screw the straight people, white people, they're evil. And they're not the best, but they're not bad. They're not bad people. That's just how they were taught the world is. And we're not going to get anywhere by shouting at each other and creating distance. We need to have parties together. And that's what GenderFunk is. It's an invitation to like, hey, come and have a drink with us, party with us, and see that this is a great, fabulous thing. And maybe it will change your perspective. So that's why we did like the straight guys edition. And that's why like we are an inclusive space, is because I have nothing against anyone. I don't care what color you are. As long as you can't choose how you were born, your experience, but you can choose to change it when somebody provides you with different information, and you can choose to grow if someone has patience and gives you an opportunity to. If you decide to not grow and not be grateful of that patience, then you're a dick and I will call you straight. But most people aren't. Most people that I meet that are white and straight, like, and I talk to them about this stuff, they're like, oh, cool, so what about this? They ask nice questions. And if we're shouting at straight people all the time, like, you've got my pronoun wrong, you've done this, they're not going to ask questions, and then they're not going to learn about us, and we can't be friends. And at the end of the day, we all got to live in this world, and there's more straight people than queer people, so we got to be nice to them.
Do you think that is, I don't want to say part of the problem, part of the challenge? Thanks for listening to episode 8 of season 2, 7 Million Bikes, a Saigon podcast. Hope you enjoyed that. I've decided to split this episode into 2 parts because Ricardo was so interesting. He had so much to talk about and I enjoyed listening to him so much. It went on a little bit and I thought instead of putting out another long episode, we'd break it into 2 parts. It'd be great to know your feedback. A lot of my episodes are over 1 hour. It's not intentional. I like to talk a lot. I find my guests really interesting and I feel the natural conversation seems to last about an hour. But is that too long? Would you rather have more 2-parters? Would you rather I just shortened the interviews and kept them more succinct? Or are you just happy to listen to me and my guests talk on and have the natural conversations that we are? So I don't know. Let me know what you think. It's good to hear your feedback. I hope you enjoyed that though. And please listen in next week for part 2, where we talk more about sexuality, gender, and straight white men in the world, and how fabulous Ricardo is, which he is. He was a really entertaining guest. As always, thank you to Lewis Wright for composing the theme tune to 7 Million Bikes, which is still one of my favourite things to listen to. And thank you to Lane Wynn for helping me design the cover art as well. You can get 7 Million Bikes anywhere you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, anything like that. You can drop me a line, 7millionbikes@gmail.com, or please go on the Facebook page, give it a like, send me a message, leave a review. Let me know that you're out there and you're listening, and if you're enjoying the show or any other feedback that you have. So keep listening, keep tuning in, and enjoy part 2 next week with Esta Ricardo.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're like me, you may use your laptop at places where you have to use public Wi-Fi. This opens you up to digital snoopers. It's a massive problem. It can be your internet service provider, or you know who, looking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal trying to steal your bank passwords or credit card info, or even a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. These days, it is vital that you keep your data safe. NordVPN keeps all of these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites that are phishing for your data, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. And it's easy to use, even I could use it. I've actually been using NordVPN for years now here in Vietnam, and I'm excited to be an affiliate partner with them. I've used NordVPN to watch Netflix, BBC, Disney Plus with ease, and I also know that my information and data are safe from prying eyes, whoever they may be. Join now and you'll get 68% off and 3 months free when you go to my link, nordvpn.com/SMB. Just again, for those hard of hearing, nordvpn.com/SMB. The link is also in the show notes. I know nobody checks them out, but go check that out and you can get the link from wherever you're listening to this podcast. As an affiliate partner, it also means that I will get a small commission when you sign up, but at no extra cost to you. So not only will you be getting a great deal through 7 Million Bikes, you get a great VPN and you'll be supporting 7 Million Bikes podcast. Stay safe online and enjoy the shows you love. Any questions, just let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. And thanks for listening to this show. Cheers.